Let's get together and be alright. I'm fleeing to my God. One more. Praise to the Lord. And I will be alright. Let's get together. Be alright. Praise to the Lord. Be alright. Yes. Good evening to everyone. Welcome to the Workers' Voice. Today, November the 6th. We are here with you tonight, as usual, on a Thursday night, the Workers' Voice. Welcome. And we are tuned in here tonight. And for those of you who have been here for the independence, Dominican diaspora, I know that most of you have left already, and a few of you are remaining to leave. So we wish you, safe flight. And I know your presence, based on your spending capital, was very important during the independence celebration. And so we honored your presence. And so just let it be your business to come as often as you can, because you all in fact help this economy grow a little bit during the festive period. But obviously the dust is wind down, the dust is settled now, and we are back to normal. We are still faced with 50% unemployment of youth. We are still faced with, corruption with respect to the process, with respect to the disenfranchisement of Dominicans who would like to participate in elections and not been able to use a basic birth paper to get confirmed. And so all these issues are still on the table. Let me just say good night to Rosa Central. You have been very supportive, and we are here fighting the struggle. And it's a long road, but we are in it together, and we are fighting together. Tonight with me is Honorable Dr. Thompson Fontaine, Honorable Dr. Thompson Fontaine, political leader of the United Workers' Party. And we'll be looking at some of what has been discussed today with respect to the reconfirmation. The ERC had a press conference today earlier at the Fort Young Hotel, and the ERC, which is the Electoral Reform Coalition, which means that, when you're coalition, you're talking about different entities, different organizations, including political parties and non-political parties. They met at the at the Fort Young Hotel today and at the press conference, and we'll be hearing what our political leader had to say at this press conference. So, I would expect your calls and your reactions after, and we can speak about current events. But at this point in time, I would just like to, allow you to hear what our political leader had to, his contribution at the press conference today. So we'll go right into it. And I don't know, Doc. I normally, before, you just have to, your little intro would be nice. And, yes. Because you're on the program, just say something before we get into your presentation.
Yes, absolutely. Let me say good night, of course, to our many listeners across the island. Not only here, but outside of Dominique as well, who are listening to the Workers' Voice. We have many, many faithful listeners also who make it their duty or every Thursday to tune in and to be a part of the Workers' Voice. So to you in particular, we say a special good night and thank you for your enduring support. And certainly we are looking forward to great interaction tonight. Quite a lot going on with regards to the confirmation and all the rest of it. So we'll be looking forward to be hearing from persons and getting the experiences of some of the individuals who have actually gone out there and be a part of the confirmation process. We are at a very critical juncture, very critical point in our progress towards democracy in Dominica. And so, it's a critical time. And so I'm very happy that, we're able to be here with you tonight on the Workers' Voice, and looking forward certainly for a really good program tonight.
Yes, Dr. Lem, first thank you for your endurance, for your perseverance, and the people are liking it. That, sometime before it was Doc wasn't there, but now everybody's saying, but they love Doc, and I hope Doc is on the ground. Yes, Doc is on the ground as well. So let me just thank you for the work that you do. Yeah, I just admire your endurance, your love, your peace, and the way you carry yourself with respect to you associate in the various constituencies. Let me just thank you for the work that you do. And let me just thank Dominicans for the many support that they have been giving us. With our raffle, somebody won this raffle. And for 4 years now, we've had our car raffle. And we have had 4 successful raffles so far. And we want to thank Dominicans for their kind patronage. So yes,
and just before you go there, and I also in terms of the thanks, we had a very important announcement from the Prime Minister on his Independence Day speech, talking about a minimum wage. And we certainly like to take some of the credit that we can. A minimum wage is now being offered, quite frankly, because we put it on the table.
Yeah, that's right.
Because before the 10 pillars was out there was absolutely no discussion about a minimum wage. There was a budget, no minimum wage was mentioned in it. And it's only when we came out with our $12 specific $12 minimum wage, that is when we started to hear about the minimum wage. So let me just remind Dominicans, when the minimum wage comes in December, they need to send me a thank you note or send us a thank you note. Right?
Certainly, Doc. Certainly, Doc.
Because it will be on account of we pushing pushing that particular aspect of it. And hopefully it is as much as $12, because as we said, we came up with $12 for the minimum wage, because we believe that is the survival wage. That is the rate at which people need to be.
Yes.
To really make ends meet in a better way. So let's see what's going to come. He did not announce how much it is going to be.
Yeah.
I hope it is at least $12, at least close to the $12 as possible, because that is where that's the living minimum wage we believe is critical here in Dominica. So it's good. It's a good thing that we're hearing that. But certainly this is something that's very much a part of our 10 pillars. And it's certainly something we continue to push forward with Dominican.
Oh yes, and Doc, the work that you do, I know you're not a boastful guy. You don't even like to speak about your experience where you've worked. I mean, you're hiding too much, and people know that you were the one on the United Workers' Party and Team Dominica. We were the ones who brought up that 10 pillar, and we just hope that they are learning from what we're doing. But the point is, we're looking forward to see what is happening, because I think you may have to have some feedback on it whenever it comes. But again, you're actually driving these guys to understand that there is a sense of urgency to get this economy rolling and to bring some pride and value and dignity to our people who have been working very hard. So I hope Dominicans, we will not say, like the Prime Minister say, I give you a house, vote for me. We'll not say because we were the ones who brought up the 10 pillar, and Dr. Thompson will not tell you, vote for me because I brought it up. No, he didn't say that. He's saying that we need to change this government, give him a chance to execute his program with Team Dominica, United Workers' Party, so that we can bring at least a better quality of life for your people. So, Doc, kudos for the work that you do. Dominicans have recognized that you are the man for this job right now, and your team. So there's no question about that. So the Prime Minister can swing high and low. And by the way, you don't get a big applause here. Normally after the uniform parade, take a walk to the stands and play heavy. That time I think 4 people clap him, and then he had to disappear, because when you see he getting a good welcome, he makes a variant go all about the stands. Mr. Prime Minister, I saw you. You really out of it. You are losing touch. People want to change now. You should look at this as a template for your actually going, because the people don't want you anymore, and your government, you have failed them and you continue to fail them, and only what you can offer now to them is much more of failure. So we want a team that believes in success and to progress and to let Dominicans move forward. So, Doc, having said that, we'll go straight into your presentation that you did at the ERC press conference held at the Fort Young Hotel.
All right. Leader of the Dominica Freedom Party, and Mr. Joshua Francis of the United Progressive Party. Let me also say a very good morning to my fellow Dominicans that are here with us, as well as the assembled press and everyone who may be listening at home. A few years ago, the government of Dominica embarked on a process of electoral reform that they claimed was aimed at primarily cleansing the bloated voters list and ensuring that our election process going forward would be free and fair. After Parliament enacted electoral reform legislation in March of 2025, the Electoral Office moved to spearhead an effort that we all hoped would forever cure the problem of stolen and fraudulent elections in Dominica. The Electoral Commission at first appeared to be reasonably balanced by putting forward a process for confirmation that we all felt could ultimately succeed in ensuring that those who were entitled to confirmation according to the legislation would be allowed to do so. We were, however, stunned and in total disbelief when, on the day before the process was meant to commence, the Electoral Office made a roundabout turn that has now forced the process into disrepute and threatens to prevent any real progress which the legislation was meant to address. The Electoral Office stood not on the side of democracy, not on the side of the people of Dominica, but rather shamefully took sides with a government that is desperate to cling on to power at all costs and is prepared to go at any length to accomplish its delusional goal. Whatever independence the Electoral Office previously portrayed was publicly sacrificed in order to stand with a repressive government that appears determined to once and for all erase our democratic tradition in this country. Let me remind the people of Dominica that the battle for electoral reform has not been without struggle and sacrifice. 25 individuals, including myself, were arrested, with several thrown into a dirty, smelly jail for several days, their liberties stripped, including our very brave women patriots. A young man was brutalized by overly zealous police, that's Mr. John Baptist Charles, a police force that appears bent on keeping this administration in office, while others were tear-gassed and otherwise denied the right to protest peacefully against the corrupt and delusional regime. Today, those of us who have been arrested have been dragged before the courts like common criminals and at great legal and personal costs, subject to the whims and fancies of a judicial system that one can only hope will protect our best interests. It is against this background, fellow Dominicans, that we come to you today to denounce the recent actions of the Electoral Office and to demand an immediate fixing of the system in order to get us back on the path to free and democratic elections in Dominica. On October 14, 2025, just one day before the confirmation process was due to begin, the Electoral Commission issued an SRO 39 called for the use of a government-issued identification to include a passport, a social security card, and a driver's license to be used to confirm the voters' names on the list. What is shocking about this was the removal of the use of a birth certificate as the preferred means of confirmation. The Electoral Office is very well aware that the removal of the use of the birth certificate as a means of confirmation would immediately prevent thousands of Dominicans to confirm the name on the voters list, thus stripping them of their ability to exercise their fundamental human right in voting for a government of their own choosing. Thousands of Dominican voters are not now in possession of those IDs, and many, because of the same action of this government, which have reduced much of this country to abject poverty, has neither means nor the motivation to go in search of a passport. This fact is clear based on the work of the Dominica Labour Party in going around the island and offering to pay for passports for their supporters. This in-your-face, naked manipulation of our voting process by the Dominica Labour Party is being supported by an electoral commission that was meant to be independent and free of political influence. The removal, my fellow Dominicans, of the requirement of a birth certificate
now means that thousands of potential voters are vowing not to participate in the confirmation process. Most simply, do not have the resources nor the desire to get a passport, quote, just to confirm. Let me remind the Electoral Commission that a passport is a travel document required for purposes of travel outside of Dominica, and no one in this country should be forced to obtain a passport for the sole purpose of maintaining their names on the voters list, by which, by the way, they got in through a birth certificate. Consider this, my fellow Dominicans. An 80-year-old Dominican who migrated to Antigua over 40 years ago and has since given up his Dominican passport can return to Dominica tomorrow and within 10 minutes be confirmed on the voters list, notwithstanding he's been away for 40 years, notwithstanding that he's no longer in possession of a Dominican passport. On the other hand, a Dominican patriot who has been in Dominica for over 80 years, who have voted in over 10 election cycles, and who have suffered for the past 25 years under the regime of the Dominican Labour Party, will have their name struck off of the voters list. Why? Because they are not in possession of a passport and simply do not have the means or the motivation to acquire one. How can this obscene mockery of our election and electoral system be justified? Let me remind everyone that this same birth certificate is the very document that is required for registration on the voters list in the first place. In addition, without a birth certificate, you may not be able to acquire a passport or a driver's license. So how it is that the very thing that sets the basis for you acquiring a passport and a driver's license cannot now be used to confirm your name on the voters list. Let me be fundamentally clear, ladies and gentlemen, fellow Dominicans. The decision of the electoral office to do away with the requirement of the birth certificate is therefore neither practical nor reasonable and cannot be justified under any circumstance. In order to restore the integrity of the process and to ensure that the fundamental human rights of the people of Dominica are protected, we demand that the electoral office immediately and without reservation reinstitute the use of the birth certificate for the purpose of confirmation on the voters list. My fellow Dominicans, in addition to the now vexing issue of the process of confirmation, we are also faced with the willful violation by the same electoral office of Section 17, subsection 1 of the Registration of Electors Act 2025, that reads as follows, and I quote, "There shall be the continuous registration of persons qualified under this act to be registered as electors." Inexplicably, for several months now, the electoral office has prevented actively the registration of new voters in the Commonwealth of Dominica. They have gone further to move registration officers to become enrollment officers that have not replaced them. And they have made absolutely no arrangements for new registration, in direct contravention of the laws of Dominica. They are violating the laws of the country. This blatant violation of our country's laws must stop, and it must stop now. This significant violation could even be used as a reason to overturn any future election results in Dominica. My fellow Dominicans, what we are witnessing has nothing to do with elections in Dominica. but rather we are reading from chapter 2 of the Dominican Labour Party's How to Steal an Election. A plot that has been hatched by the Dominican Labour Party and is now being carried out in full view of the Dominican public by a compromised electoral commission. Let us not fool ourselves. This has nothing to do with ensuring free and fair elections in Dominica, but rather a well thought out plan to keep this government in office against the overwhelming wishes of the majority of Dominicans residing here in Dominica. We therefore join forces with the other political parties and patriots of this country in saying no to the plans of the Dominican Labour Party and no to the unprofessional and law-breaking behavior of the Electoral Commission, who no doubt in my mind carry ulterior motives. We are therefore placing the Electoral Commission on notice this morning at this time that they must act, and they must do so now in order to prevent this grave and looming threat to our democracy and to our elections process here in Dominica. I thank you.
Yes, and we've just heard our political leader, Honorable Dr. Thompson Fontaine, just at least in his address at the ERC's press conference, reiterating the point. He has been doing that all along in the various town hall meetings, and today was no exception. But we heard a more forceful and decisive and directive and a more precise way of asking for it. And what I sum up is that he's saying that the removal of the use of the birth certificate from the SRO, new SRO, is bad, and it's calling for the reinstatement of the birth paper, and to do it now. And he actually said it is neither practical or reasonable to have the birth paper removed from this exercise, and an immediate recall for the birth paper for the purpose of confirmation is absolutely necessary. And also to the electoral office must take note that they are in violation of the act, which states clearly continuous registration must be respected and must go on. And so all of this must be respected. And our political leader has, of course, reiterated the point and is calling strongly on the electoral office to do what is necessary and do what is right, to have the many Dominicans who would have been left disenfranchised, to have them be able to participate in the electoral process. So, Doc, what was it like? I mean, today was extraordinary. I mean, it's a long time you have not heard a united force with one call, in a long time. It has happened in the past, but, calling for, having that electoral or that confirmation focus on laser beam on, particularly on confirmation and registration.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I believe it is crucially important at this time that we show that unity of purpose and also the fact that the whole process is now in disarray.
Yes.
I mean, it is clear from listening to our constituents that people, their immediate reaction is not to participate, and that should not be.
Right.
You would want people lining up across the block, around the block, to confirm.
Right.
But that is not happening. And it's not happening because the Electoral Commission, as I said very clearly in my statement today, the Electoral Commission has taken sides with the government of Dominica against the people of Dominica. And that should not be. Electoral Commission is supposed to be independent and should be focused simply on getting the process right. They have not gotten it right. By removing the birth certificate as an option to confirm on the voters list, they have made a gross mistake. The whole process is now in disarray. People are promising to boycott. People are promising not to participate in it just because of the way that they've gone about it. And they must have known, as I said, that the majority of Dominicans, a good number of Dominicans, do not have passports.
Right.
Because a lot of people don't have money to travel. On the little money that they're making, they can't afford to travel overseas. So most of them don't have passports. and to insist that you must have a passport or driver's license or social security card and exclude the one. By the way, a birth certificate is so critical to us here in Dominica that without a birth certificate, you cannot get a passport.
You cannot get a
You
passport.
cannot get a driver's
But
license, and you may have difficulty getting a social security
You must
card.
present it. I
You
presented
have
it
to
on
present it.
yeah.
So why it is that now at this critical time you're removing it, and bear in mind the problems that we've experienced in this whole voting thing has never had to do with people living in Dominica, the bona fide voters. What we've had is the people who've come to Dominica and voted in different constituencies.
Yes.
Voted when they should not have voted. That's where the problems of the whole list has been. You know,
Yes.
you have a bloated voters list.
Yes.
People have taken advantage. In fact, just this past season, I was talking to a young lady from Canada, and she told me what she's telling me is not what she heard from a third party.
Right.
One of the individuals, all right, who came told her that he voted 3 times in Dominica. Tell me, I'm not telling you what I heard. He himself came and confessed that he voted 3 times in Dominica in the last election. So she asked him, "But how did you do with the stuff they just put on your finger?" He said they gave them something to remove it.
Wow.
And by the way, I know this individual, huh?
Right.
So it just happened. I know the individual that she's talking about,
Yes.
But that these are the kind of problems we had, with the voters. It's not about confirming, Ma Monroe or Ma Rose or Ma James on this voters list. These are those individuals. The registering officers will know these persons even.
Right.
They will know. I mean, if you live in a constituency, you must know the people that live there.
Yes.
Because we have very small communities. Small communities.
Yeah.
So, if we are trying to fix the issue, firstly, the issue should have been fixed by a re-registration, which we did not get. Okay, so that's okay. We did not get it. But now that if you're going to do a confirmation process, you have to make it such that every single person who wants to confirm gets a chance to do that. And under this current process, that is not happening. And the only way forward, really, I know people are talking about injunctions and legal cases and so on. All of that is all good. But that is something that can be easily fixed.
Easily fixed.
Easily
fixed. We don't have to go as far as this.
We don't have to go as far.
Yeah.
That is something I hope the Electoral Commission will take on board and do as quickly as possible.
So we're having a caller. Good evening to you. Have your say. Good evening, caller. Have your say. Workers' voice.
Good evening, brother. So, Mr. Thompson, fireman touching base.
Yes, fireman. Good to hear you.
No, listen to me well. So I know you very well. I know Thompson very well. Come Africa, the people who said nobody can do. I don't have friends there.
Yeah.
I have a lot of book smart people.
Yeah, well,
no, really well, Mr. Soson and Thompson Fountain.
Yes, yes, sir.
No, I ain't saying something there. Listen to me well. I ain't saying something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Somebody say they vote in 3 polling station, right?
Mm-hmm.
The same person vote in 3 polling station.
Yes.
So you don't feel to yourself as a person that's well educated, right? Or women or you book smart, or you have qualification, I have no qualification, but I still have to turn to the book some Marcus Garvey. So no man can take for me. Hear me well. Somebody vote in 3 polling stations, the same person. So you don't think to yourself as a human being right now. We have a confirmation. You don't think the right and the best thing to have is a picture ID right now there, so somebody who can vote 3 and 4 times again. Let's get it with. I Thompson Funkin and Mr. Soso, let's get it with.
Okay, you ask your question, we'll answer. One thing I will tell you. No. Wait a while you ask your question. Dr. Thompson will answer, But let me just tell you, first of all, that you are correct that we need a picture ID on voting day, that you have to come to vote and say, that is who I am. So you present your voter ID card, and that itself will represent you who are going to vote. We are talking about confirming persons who are already on the list. And we are talking about why is it that the government is making it, or the Electoral Commission is making it difficult for those who do not have a government ID not be able to participate. And I will ask you the question now. Do you think it is correct for many who do not have a government ID to be left out in the process so that they could get confirmed?
So
No.
Again, I just tell again, listen to me well. Any confirmation, reconfirmation or confirmation, to me, for someone to be voting 4 and 5 and 7 and 8 times again, you need a picture ID kids the government passport or social security, no paper. Those people have no picture. Let's get it real. So
Sir-
somebody will come and vote 6 and 7 times. Let's get it real, my lord. Let's
Okay, well, let's listen. You could give someone else a chance on the line. I'm saying to you, and the political leader is going to respond, that at this point in time, we are not voting. So, which means that everybody who will be confirmed on the list initially will have then a voter ID card or picture ID card, as you rightly stating. As we speak now, many of us are on the list, the voters list. We are the electors on the respective list in the various constituencies. We are saying now to get confirmed, the electoral office is saying that you need a government ID. For
But
many
yes,
who
a picture
sir,
ID also no kind of birth certificate. Birth certificate have no kind of picture. We want a picture ID.
But that is what you use to register.
register.
That is what you have to do.
But that is, hold on.
Hey,
But
when we have that,
hold on a while.
Hold on.
Hold
You
on, hold on.
respect the political leader.
Hold on. Listen. What did you use to register?
Repeat.
What did you use to register?
What I used to register?
What did you use to register?
I use my passport to register.
No. That's not correct. That's not correct.
So
That is not correct.
No.
Because to register, all you need is your birth certificate.
You're telling me something else, so you're telling me a line for you.
Yes, because you don't need passport. Is your birth certificate that the legislation calls for to register?
What year I register to vote? What year I register to
It
vote?
does not matter what year.
Listen to me.
You
What year I
must
register to
have
vote?
used your birth certificate.
Me tell something. I registered to vote in 2000.
It does
right?
not matter what
And I
year,
have-
sir.
listen, but you can, I'm listening
Unless
to
you're
you for almost
the
40
only.
okay, yeah, I know you're listening. Let's listen.
You must be the only person that. You must be the only person that.
To me, anybody, you need a picture ID to reconfirm, and that is
But
schedule.
that-
No paper, fire on that. I'm listening to
But you see, but the point I was trying to make to him, he used the birth
But
certificate
to register, and now he doesn't want somebody else to use the birth certificate to get confirmed. You know, no, sir, so you're not honest there. But thanks for your contribution.
It is.
I think you get the clarity there. I mean,
All
yes.
But let's
Yes, we have another caller. Good evening, Workers' Voice.
Yeah, something you all need to make clear. It's not only a birth certificate, It was a birth certificate and a passport size picture signed by the Justice of Peace.
Correct.
Of some person in some high office that can be seen as truthful. Okay? So it wasn't just about a passport, about a birth certificate to say there is a birth certificate. And it wasn't just any birth certificate, it was a birth certificate that is computer generated, not the old
one, yes.
That is handwritten.
That's right.
You understand? And the electoral office and the electoral commission, or whatever it is, I always get them twisted, but I guess they are one and the same. They were advertising, right, prior to the 14th, that people should have that at hand, in hand, to come and get themselves reconfirmed.
In the legislation, yes. Yeah.
And then on the 14th, they came and they said that it is no longer valid.
Right.
Now, we have to bear in mind, if you do not have a government ID, which is a passport or a license or whatever, you must have a birth certificate in order to obtain that. So why are we saying a birth certificate is not valid right now?
Good analysis.
You understand?
Good
And
analysis.
what I want to say again, I just want to give thanks for the various parties that came together today to have this press conference. It is a good show of unity, and we need to continue that way, because it is written in the Bible, although the previous caller doesn't really believe in the Bible from what I have listened to. But he says that he follows Selassie and he believes in Selassie, and Selassie himself said, in order for man to find their salvation, they should look to the Bible. You understand? So I need him to get that in his fixed call, because I don't know why people are trying to defend the indefensible. You understand? Things that are clear, even the blind can see it, and yet still man want to defend it. You understand? And they want to call themselves all kind of thing. And these things, they really get to me. You understand? Because I have my children growing, and I need my children to grow in a place that is conducive for their growth. That is fear. You understand?
That's right.
That justice prevails. Because it is said that injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. You understand? And This voting thing is a thing that people died for, died to obtain. You understand?
That's
and
right.
Now we are going right back to the days when you had to have certain requirements in terms of land and this and that and all kind of a thing to be able to vote. You understand? It is not just for the common man again. You understand? So take out land, take out property, take out wealth, and just put things like passport and license. You still need money to obtain those things. And if you don't have money, you're going right back
That
to
is
where
correct.
you came from, to where the forefathers came from, to where they fought to obtain that right to be able to vote. You understand? So I want to say thanks again to the various parties that came together today to enlighten the people and to let the people know what is going on. Because it is written as well that when people are together, they can do great things. They can accomplish a lot. Even God himself said that, in the days of Nimrod, this is why we have so many different languages. You understand? And it is written in the Bible. And I want us to believe what the Bible says. Don't just believe the Bible is a book that is just written with a set of stories and those things are not real.
Yes, caller. Yes.
You understand?
Great.
The Bible,
Yes.
the acronym Bible says basic instructions before leaving earth. You understand? So we need to take that as a manual for life. And if we really follow that, we won't be having all them placard and all them kind of problems we're having. It's just because we are just a bunch of hypocrites and liars and wicked people. That is why we have all these things going on. Because when it is convenient, God is good. And when it is otherwise, then it's a whole different story.
Thank you.
Thank you, caller. Well said. We appreciate.
We have a number.
Number of callers. Caller, you are on again. Workers' Voice.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening, sir.
Dr. Fountain, and I want to use that word doctor, because I still hear people addressing Roosevelt Skerrit as doctor. I mean, no. This is crazy. Anyway, Dr. Fountain, the idea that this government wants to do their bully, I use the word bully, using their 3 CBI passport sellers, bully us into some kind of legislation. Now, that is well on the way. The legislation has been passed. What I want to know is that, would it be useful to challenge them in a court of law and hold them up, seeing that they've gone to those steps and passed laws? Now is the time to challenge them and hold them in a court of law. If anything, delay them and tie them, because that is the technique that they used on you and others as opposition. And you, above all, people should know what that act of the law hanging over your head with that rotten rope for how many years has it been, Mr. Dr. Fountain?
Well, since that's 8 years. 8 years.
8 years, yes. 8 years having that thing hanging. We need to do the same thing to them so that they understand it. Legislation, get in the court for court. Put them before the court and tie them up. Do you think that would be useful? I'm listening.
All right. Thank you very much, caller. I'll respond to that shortly, but let's take this other caller who's been on the line for a while. Good evening, caller.
Yes, good evening, gentlemen. Good evening to Dr. Fountain and good evening to you, sir.
Yes, good evening.
I was really astonished to hear Ronald Charles say today that there are no confirmation centers in Mount Prospect. Really, I was really taken aback. It's a good thing I was sitting down when I heard that. How could you not have a confirmation center in Mount Prospect when people vote in Mount Prospect? And I have said this is one of the reasons why this thing must be injuncted. And I know that's what the Labour Party is waiting for that process to be injuncted and for them to call an election in the meantime. That's what they're waiting for. But we got to do it right. Good evening, gentlemen.
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Good evening, caller. You are right on.
Hello.
Yes. Go ahead, caller. Workers' Voice.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, sir. You are on. We are hearing you clearly. Workers' Voice.
Yes. This is Joshua Francis.
Oh,
Good
yes.
evening, Mr.
Good evening,
General
Josh.
Coffee.
How are you, sir?
I am doing well, and good evening to the Right Honorable Dr. Thompson Fontaine.
Yes, Josh, good evening. Good evening.
I just called to make a quick contribution. First and foremost, let me place on public record that I was very pleased to be part of a collective effort this morning as we highlighted some of the concerns surrounding the confirmation process in Dominica. I hope that our echoes and our calls would have fallen on the ears of the electoral commissioners and that they will do the right thing for the people of Dominica, and that is to reverse the SRO, which has removed as one of the requirements the use of birth certificates together with a passport size picture and an affidavit to allow one to confirm to vote. But whilst we are putting the Electoral Commission at task to reconsider their decision and to do what is fair and just for the people of Dominica, I want to equally ask our supporters in the opposition to go out and to confirm to vote. For those who have their IDs, go out early and confirm your name on the voters list. Furthermore, I will also suggest that we look for those who do not have an ID, record the names, and to report to the various leaders in the opposition so that the necessary steps could be taken. Because at the end of the day, our quest here is to cause this government to be removed. And we have to do everything. Persons are talking about using the legal machinations. If we have to resort to the court to aid in pursuit of our cause in getting this government out, then let it be. But at this hour, the power lies in the hands of the people, the barefoot ordinary man. That's where the power lies. And I want us to excite our base, excite the people of Dominica, give the people of Dominica reasons to go out there and take the necessary steps to confirm to vote or to register to vote. At this hour, the registration of new voters are on hold. As soon as it is resumed, we are to get our young people and unregistered voters, any and everybody who is eligible to register to vote, should get registered to vote. And whilst I'm on that point, I must remind the public that, again, we have to be vigilant and we have to hold the feet of the commissioners, the electoral commissioners, to the fire, because it's really unjustifiable and unreasonable for the re-registration process to be placed on hold. So, gentlemen, continue the good job, continue the good work. I pray that the good Lord bless each and every one of us who are in the opposition. Being an opposition politician in Dominica is not easy. The amount of sacrifice that comes with that vocation is very high. Resources are limited, but nonetheless, we have the will, we have the heart, we have the desire. Our quest stands on the pillar of faithfulness and sacrifice for the people, and we have to continue making the sacrifice and hope that our efforts will not be in vain. But when the call is made, an election is called, that we'll get the positive results which we have been toiling to achieve over the past couple of decades. So once again, God bless you, Dr. Fontaine, and Glenroy Coffee, bless your team, and let us continue to work as a collective unit to get that change which is required, which is a need in Dominica. So once again, good night and good night to your listeners.
Oh, yes.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much, Josh. Much appreciated.
Oh, yes, definitely. And thanks for the inspiring words. And yes, and we always say to the people of Dominica that to get this, government out of on our backs, you need to go out and get confirmed. And that's what we are saying. So notwithstanding, yes, there's a clarion call for, the commission, commissioners to actually reinstate the birth paper and the picture ID with an affidavit of, identity. We are saying that for those of us who have the ID, the government ID, we should go out and get confirmed with just someone to just witness on your behalf. So, but someone else wasn't called, but send a voice note. I want to play it with respect to what one of the callers said, and he wanted to just at least, have some hearing on it.
So I think you guys are wasting your time to talk to this guy. I just think he's getting the point. He's talking about an ID card. You guys are talking about confirmation. So I don't think he's getting the point. Now you are asking, what did he use to get registered? He said his passport. We all know that we use our birth certificates so they can confirm, they can verify your age, that you're 18 or over 18 to get registered. Now let us give him the benefit of the doubt, because you know with these people anything can happen. So let us say he used his passport to get registered. The question I would ask him is, what did he use now to get the passport? What document did he use to get the passport? It comes right back to the birth certificate. So what is the difficulty right now? Why we can't use a birth certificate and a ping pong, a passport photo certified by a justice of peace or someone of that rank, that status, that level? Why? Why are they making it so difficult? Why? While the government is using state resources to get their supporters with valid IDs, they're renewing their supporters' passports. But the opposition people know that does not have valid IDs won't be able to participate in the confirmation process, and as such, they won't be able to vote. I mean, can that be fair? Is that electoral reform? Boy, we're in trouble in this country. We have to stand up, We have to stand up, and we have to ensure that the Electoral Commission reverse that decision, because initially they took that decision to use the birth certificate and the photo and the passport photo. They have to revert to that first decision to make it easier for the ordinary man and woman, the elderly person, the unemployed people to get confirmed, and so they can cast a vote when that time comes around.
Yes.
All right, thanks. And the caller is very right. I also wanted to just take a little time as well and to just go a little bit further about this whole registration process. And the registration, the current Electors Act, it allows for the government of Dominica, the Prime Minister, effectively to call an election even during the confirmation period.
That's true.
But here is where it gets interesting. According to that same legislation, if the Prime Minister were to call an election during the confirmation period, the list that is effective is the list that was there at the beginning, which was supposed to have been the May list.
Yes.
That is the list that should go. But it goes further. It says this list plus all those who were newly registered. All right? So it's not just the list.
Yeah.
So in other words, there's an expectation that during the confirmation period, people are still registering. So that if you call an election, because the confirmation period is not over, you cannot remove someone from the list.
Right.
So that everybody will have the right to vote. But you must also include those who are newly registered.
Yeah.
Right? That shows the importance of continuous registration.
Yes.
So you can't dismiss that. So if, for example, an election were to be called next month, say, and you have not done registration over the last 3 months, that is a problem. Because you would have denied persons who have the right to vote not to be able to vote. And on the strength of that, an election can be overturned.
Right.
If you actively deny persons the opportunity to register and to vote, an election can be turned over on that. We've had general elections been turned on lack of access to a radio station in St. Kitts. So we have precedents. So I just want to put that out there, that the legal aspect of that is absolutely critical and important.
Yes, and I think we should establish, Doc, too, that what we are advocating for right now is not something that is new. When the Registration of Electors Act was passed in March 2025, exactly what we are talking about now, that's what was there. It is a new SRO that actually preventing now people to use the birth certificate, the ID, and the identity of, the affidavit of identity.
Yeah.
But the point is, it was there, and they remove it. And not only that, you remove it on the day before. you open the whole confirmation process, and that is
Yeah,
so
and-
sad because people were preparing
They were
themselves.
preparing, but not only that, the question, that is where I really question
Mm.
the integrity of the electoral
Electoral
commission.
Commission,
You
yeah.
must, why it is that you've advertised over all of those months that you can use the birth certificate along with a signed picture,
Yes.
likeness of the person.
Person.
Everybody accepted, and then all of a sudden, the day before you come. Now what? And that's why I've said clearly that they've aligned with the Labour Party, because the Labour Party, all of the time that the electoral office was promoting the use of the birth paper, you remember they were going around
Wrong,
the
yes,
island
yes.
offering people passports.
Yeah.
And I kept on, but that does not make sense. Why would somebody need a passport if they can use their birth certificate? So it means that the electoral office came along with the government,
But I have said
with the
so.
Labour, not the government, with the Labour Party,
With the Labour Party.
and that is wrong. So this particular electoral office, they have lost the integrity that goes with the office, and that's the reason why I've called for the resignation of the chairperson. And and again, when I meet with him again, I will ask him in the interest of the public that he needs to resign. It is just not fair that you're messing around. As the caller said earlier, people have died for the right to vote.
Yes.
We've suffered over all of those generations,
a
and now you suddenly want to do as you wish. It makes no sense.
Yes. Good evening, caller. You are right on cue. Workers' voice.
So,
Yes, sir.
Miss Dr. Fountain, there are certain things that have become very obvious as to, what is a biased situation. You have 3 agents of the CBI program installed in the Electoral Commission.
Oh.
Just think about that for a moment. How far could you go? How further could you go in corruption than to have such a situation? How worse could it get? These people are agents of Roosevelt Skerritt in the capacity of selling citizenship, or as they say, whatever they say, they don't like to say selling, trading. I don't know what word they want to use, but the point is that they are agents of Roosevelt Skerritt directly. How can they be involved in the electoral process at that level? It beats me. Thank you, gentlemen.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And it's sad because as we said, one of the pillars of our fundamental pillars of our democracy is elections, and how you would have persons who are aligned in such passport, sale or passport, transaction or CBI, whatever you want to call it, but I call it passport sale. Right at the hem there, and these persons, their names have been called in respect to real estate and what they're buying and not. How then now you'll expect them to work in the interest of Dominicans? But we are saying to you all that, commissioners, get real. I know all the commissioners are not the same. I know 2 outstanding commissioners who, of course, have been fighting and advocating for the people, and they will not stand to let the people stay behind. But after all, the chairman and the 2 other commissions on the government side, please. Come on. You have conscience. You have a conscience. You have consciences. Just let it be at work, man. And peace with your heart. Be peace with your heart, man. Get the people to not disenfranchise the ordinary people, man. Come on. What are you looking for? What are you trying to please? So get the work of the people done, and don't play with this process, which is one of the most fundamental pillars of our democracy. Do not do that.
Do not. And then you understand, you see the kind of energy and the kind of effort that this Labour Party puts into that process.
My God.
Why not just do it right? Why not just do the thing that is supposed to be done, like it was done in Antigua and in St. Lucia and in Grenada and in St. Vincent and the Grenadines? Just do it right.
Just do it right.
So you have to wonder about a prime minister that is so bent on staying in office at all costs.
Well, I'm telling you, he's going,
even to the detriment of the country, even to the detriment of the electoral process, even at risk of disenfranchising thousands of Dominican voters. It's just not fair, and so that's the reason why we have to stand up. And the caller asked earlier about the courts. We are looking at every possible option, and we should not restrict our response, because our response must be strong, it must be rigorous, and it must go towards ensuring that at the end of the day we have a level playing field and we have an election process that we can all be proud of.
Yes, and certainly, and the book continues, and as we're saying, we are asking everyone who's already registered, who has already been registered in their respective constituencies, to get going, to get confirmed. Once you have a government ID, you can start with that process. We'll be looking after those who are talking on behalf of those and getting them ready to confirm, and for that process. So we are saying to Dominicans, by and large, don't let your spirits be daunted. Get out there, get confirmed. Let's do it all. Let's go do it collectively so that we can get this government out of our backs. The Prime Minister, you can swing high, you can swing low, you can move to the left or the right. You can choose to bathe in the Atlantic Ocean or the Caribbean Sea. Your time is up. Dominicans are fed up with you, sir. We are no longer going to take your nonsense. It's time you go. 24 years, 25 years is enough. You have had enough, sir. You have had enough. Right now, you are concentrating more on yourself now, not on the people. I think you have lost control of governance. That bedroom governance not even working anymore again. So you just have to pack up and go. And so we say to you, it's time up. Dominicans, collectively we can do it, but we are just asking you to be encouraged, and we are asking persons of influence, persons who want to see our democracy thrive. We are asking you to come out and support confirmation. Ask persons to go out, and you'll be seeing people coming out of mass. Just take it easy. So, Doc, we are already out of time.
Wow.
But the time flies so very quickly. I don't know why. I don't know.
I mean, we had other concerns. I was hoping that we could again echo with regards to some of the irregularities. I mean, we talked about the fact that most of the enrollment officers, the Labour Party operatives, I mean, that should not be. The fact that you have enrollment centers in Labour Party
inadequate
offices, that should not be. The fact that you're disenfranchising entire villages, as in the case of Asolda, we know for a fact. We know as well for Mont Prosper. My view is that every place where people are allowed to vote, they should have enrollment centers in those areas. And even that there should be no two ways about it. In other words, the onus is on the electoral office to get the resources and to ensure that people are able to confirm, because that is what they impose on the people. That's what the government of Dominica imposed through the electoral office, a confirmation process. So the focus must be on the electoral office to be able to get all of these individuals confirmed. They're the ones that have to do it. They're the ones. I mean, confirmation is not necessarily a party play or party option. It is the responsibility of the electoral office. The very same way is the responsibility of the electoral office to register people. As a party, of course, we have to encourage people to register. We have to
get involved in assisting them when necessary, to show them the way, make them know what is required.
Right.
We do that.
But the ultimate responsibility is with the electoral office, and we absolutely have to keep calling on them to do what is right. So, Commissioner Duncan, Chief Elections Officer, electoral office persons, just do what is right by the people of Dominica. Otherwise, it will be chaos. Otherwise, it can resort to mayhem. It will be a problem because people are not going to sit by idly and see their rights being trampled upon, see that fundamental right to vote a government into office being stripped away from them. All right. So all of that can be avoided by simply doing the right thing.
Yes, and just to say, because Roseau Central constituents or Roseau Central electors are all over the place. I think Roseau Central is the most displaced constituency with respect to persons who have been registered, and all over the place in Dominica. I'm just saying to you, if you have any difficulty understanding any aspect of the confirmation process, my number is 245-2858, and as your caretaker, I'm willing to work with you to ensure that you have the right, you have the right requirement to go forward. So you could call me at 245-2858. We could have a chat, and I will ensure to finish you with. You can be assured to be finished with the necessary information going forward to have you confirmed. So, Doc, we know we're out of time, so we are saying again, and we are advocating strongly that we're asking people to get confirmed. For those who are on the present or the current list, wherever they are, get confirmed, and they should do that quickly as possible. While it is true we have time, we have a year and possibly even 12 months and even possibly 15 months. We can have an additional 3 months if possible. That the legislation speaks to that. But for now, the 12 months period, it just open. We have time, but we have to do it early and get it over with and get yourself ready. Because if the time is expired and you have not been confirmed, then your name will be removed from the existing register. So I will say to you again that we are calling on you to get confirmed, to move forward, to move expeditiously with this process, and where applicable, wherever you have issues regarding to understanding what is required to be confirmed. As I said, the Roseau Central caretaker, Glen Roy Social Coffee, is saying you can call me at 245-2858. So, Doc, your final words?
Yes, so just like you, to echo the fact that persons need to go out and get confirmed. Those who are in possession of the IDs, take the opportunity and make sure that your name is ready so that you are ready for the next time elections are called, that we can work to removing this government. I believe after 25 years, the majority of Dominicans are fed up with this government. They're fed up with the non-performance. After 25 years, you're talking about a minimum wage for the first time, and the fact that they've really failed the people of Dominica in every conceivable way. And so, we are certainly doing that. Now, I'm just going to cede my last statement to this caller.
Oh, yes. Caller, go right ahead. You'll be closing up the program. Good evening.
So good night.
Good night to you.
Fontaine, I want to ask you a question. As a former diplomat out there, what do you have to say much on Maduro and Trump in Venezuela? I know you spent some time in the States and you study the American policy and the philosophy. Are you there with me, sir?
Yes, I am. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm seeing just in the Caribbean a while ago, Grenada was shipping something like $500,000 in production, fish, oil, spices, and they have put restriction on that. And then they're talking about Venezuela is exporting a ton load of drugs to America. But let's be real. If you stop in a small island state, which you want to help you to control your trafficking in drugs, which is Grenada, Trinidad, they're close. You stop in Grenada from exporting large amount of goods American people need, fish, consumption. And why Trump is blaming Maduro for this kind of problem? Look, he lost so many seats on the mayor. The mayors that going up to the different states. The Republican lost a few other seats, around 3 to 4 seats. And look at the large amount of demonstration that going on in America against Trump. You see around 40-something thousand people is off air controllers. Trump has spent 4 years in opposition and every day he was in the court for all kind of crimes. How are you looking at that? Because when your government gets in power, you're not going to escape. Nobody's going to escape the America policy. And I saw you study in America for the longest while. They have raised war in the 4 corners of the world. Trump is making peace here, there, and there, and then he's fighting war somewhere else. Do you think it's justified? Do you think we're supposed to look to America still? Don't you think we're supposed to shift our pole? Don't you think we should go more to Africa?
Okay, caller.
Because what I'm saying, look at how close we is to the African. You look at even the Nigerian schools. We have this guy Shari in Burkina Faso. We should have closer links with these people. Like what you see the Chinese does. The Chinese don't bother with America. They go to Brazil. I think they're putting up a car factory in Brazil. They're doing some sort of beans planting berries, the things that consume the Chinese consume. So, this is just my little thought inside of it. Good night.
All
Yes,
right.
thank you.
Good night, caller.
I wish you had time for
I
response,
wish.
right?
Yeah.
So you must do something for the independent in Roseau, as a man that run for the Roseau seat. Roseau is a hot spot for the independent, and when the independent time come around, play a part in doing something for the people. I know there are many key supporters of the United Workers' Party who have some abandoned lots in Roseau, and I know if people like you and Mr. Lennox approach them, if you want me to tell you the name, when I meet you, I can tell you the name. I want to tell you the name on the air. Some abandoned big lots in Roseau, which could use, that's what you see, something like what they do above the police station, but it do have to be a parking, just to ease up. Look at a spot next to Bolo there. Something can be done. What you would do for the people that selling across by Jolly's there, because these people there for a long while, these people that selling all the clothes items. Would you put up a building there for them? Would you acquire property for them? So?
Yeah, you asked me a lot of questions.
Think about it when you get into office.
No. It's not when I get. I've been speaking about it a lot.
Maybe we can tackle those issues next week.
No, we should tackle it, and probably he needs to hear some of what has been proposed before. Because thank you. But you are correct. We are not running away from it. So the next time you hear me again, I think you will hear some of the immediate plans, I believe, that is required for us to step up the whole actual economic game in Roseau Central. I've been addressing the whole question of empty lots and what we can do. We can use them as vending cubicles. I think the government now starting to hear about using lots for parking, not only parking that you can do it for. And so now they are doing it. That is, while that may be easing up traffic with respect to finding parking, but for those who wish to occupy the street, they are still occupying the streets. So the point is we need to get alternative way of parking so that the street can be clear. We cannot have one lane for transport flow and then two side parking. That is just out of the question. So we'll speak of these issues, and rest assured that I've been involved a lot in Roseau Central in terms of independence time. But for this time around, maybe it didn't happen. But I take your point, and I wish that you could meet me. We could talk about it, and some of the ideas you have, we'll take it on board. But let me just say thank you to all who have called and participated in our program tonight. We appreciate that your participation, because without your participation, I don't think we could have a program. So let me say until next time, we say good night. Do have a blessed night and all the best.
And it's only my will that keeps me alive. I've been for you, and I'm survive because of my pride.
people here in Belém is their criticism of the US President Donald Trump. President Lula da Silva of Brazil, the host of this year's COP Climate Summit, didn't name him, but talked about what he described as extremist forces that have been denying climate change and working to counter efforts to tackle it. Chile's President Boric directly named Donald Trump and accused him of lying at the UN General Assembly when he described climate change as a con job. Now, we heard as well from leaders around the world, including the UK's Prince William, who called for urgent action and coordination to tackle climate change. The UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer as well said that the UK was all in when it came to net zero policies, but did say that there was no longer political consensus, not just within the UK itself, but also around the world about tackling climate change.